Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, first published in 1958, tells the story of Okonkwo, a respected Igbo warrior whose life is transformed as European colonialism and Christian missionaries begin changing his community in what is now Nigeria. Through Okonkwo's personal tragedy, the novel portrays both the richness of traditional Igbo society and the profound disruption caused by colonial expansion. Achebe's literary style combines clear, direct prose with Igbo proverbs, oral storytelling traditions, folk tales, and cultural imagery, presenting African life from within rather than through a colonial perspective. The novel explores themes of tradition and change, colonialism, cultural identity, masculinity, family, religion, fate, pride, and the conflict between the individual and society. Things Fall Apart remains important for challenging colonial portrayals of Africa and for its powerful examination of what happens when cultures, beliefs, and systems of authority collide during a period of irreversible change. The story starts with Okonkwo, a powerful and respected man of Umuofia, one of 9 connected Igbo villages in lower Nigeria. His fame begins when, as a young man, he defeats Amalinze the cat, a wrestler who had been unbeaten for 7 years. From then on, Okonkwo becomes known for strength, courage, and fierce determination. He is everything his father, Unoka, was not. Unoka loved music and words, but he feared blood, borrowed money he could not repay, and left his family hungry. Okonkwo grows up ashamed of him and builds his entire life around avoiding anything that looks like weakness. That fear shapes Okonkwo's home. He has 3 wives, 8 children, barns full of yams, a personal hut, and a shrine for his ancestors. In public, he is admired as a warrior and farmer. In private, he is harsh, especially toward his son Nwoye, whom he sees as lazy and too gentle. Okonkwo believes manhood must be hard, productive, and fearless, so he tries to beat softness out of his household. One night, the town crier calls the men of Umuofia to gather. At the meeting, Ogbuefi Ezeugo announces that a woman from Umuofia has been killed in the market of Mbino. The clan demands compensation. Mbino must give Umuofia a young woman and a boy or face war. Because Umuofia has a terrifying reputation in battle and in magic, Mbino agrees. The young woman becomes the wife of the murdered woman's husband, and the boy Ikemefuna is placed in Okonkwo's care until the elders decide his fate. Ikemefuna is frightened and homesick at first, but he slowly becomes part of Okonkwo's family. Nwoye's mother treats him kindly, and the children admire his stories, skills, and lively spirit. Most importantly, Ikemefuna becomes like an older brother to Nwoye. Under his influence, Nwoye seems stronger and more masculine, which pleases Okonkwo. Okonkwo himself grows attached to the boy, but he hides that affection because tenderness feels dangerous to him. The village continues through its seasons and customs. During the sacred week of peace, Okonkwo breaks tradition by beating his youngest wife, Ojugo, because she has gone to braid her hair without preparing dinner. The priest orders him to make sacrifices and pay a fine, and Okonkwo obeys, though the act shows how easily anger overrules his judgment. Later, as planting begins, he drives Nwoye and Ikemefuna hard, believing criticism will make boys into men. The feast of the new yam arrives before the harvest, but Okonkwo dislikes the idleness of celebration. Restless and irritable, he beats his second wife, Ekwefi, and then fires a gun at her after she mocks his poor hunting. He misses, but the moment reveals again how quickly his pride turns violent. The next day, the village gathers for a wrestling contest, an event full of excitement, drums, and communal pride. Ekwefi remembers that Okonkwo first won her heart through wrestling, and their daughter Ezinma, whom Okonkwo loves deeply, though he rarely shows it, moves around the household with unusual confidence. Ikemefuna lives with Okonkwo's family for 3 years. Then the oracle decrees that he must be killed. Ogbuefi Ezeudu privately warns Okonkwo not to take part, because Ikemefuna calls him father. Okonkwo ignores the warning. He tells Ikemefuna that he is being taken home, and the boy begins the journey believing he may see his mother again. When one of the men strikes him with a machete, Ikemefuna cries to Okonkwo for help. Terrified of appearing weak, Okonkwo delivers the final blow himself. Ikemefuna's death damages the family in ways Okonkwo cannot admit. Nwoye senses what has happened, and something inside him breaks. It reminds him of another pain he has never understood: the cries of newborn twins abandoned in the evil forest, because custom declares them cursed. Okonkwo, meanwhile, falls into a deep unease. He cannot eat or sleep, then angrily criticizes himself for grieving like a weak person. He visits his friend Obirika, who questions whether Okonkwo should have joined in the killing at all. Okonkwo tries to recover by blaming his sadness on idleness, but the moral wound remains. The story then turns more closely to Ekwefi and Ezinma. Ezinma becomes feverish, and Ekwefi is terrified because she has lost 9 children before her. People believe Ezinma may be an Okbanje, a spirit child who repeatedly returns to its mother only to die again. A medicine man has already found her Iuwa, the buried object believed to tie such a child to the spirit world. But every illness still frightens Ekwefi. To her, Ezinma is not only a child, she is the one child who has stayed. Umuofia's justice and spiritual life are shown through a gathering of the Egwugwu, masked figures representing ancestral spirits. They hear disputes and guide the community. In one case, a husband named Uzawulu demands that his wife's brothers return her or repay her bride price. The brothers explain that he beat her cruelly, even causing a miscarriage. The Egwugwu decide he must beg his wife to return and treat her properly if she agrees. The scene shows that the clan has structure, ritual, and methods of judgment long before outsiders arrive. One night, Chielo, the priestess of Akbala, comes for Ezinma, saying the oracle wants to see her. Ekwefi is terrified but follows Chielo through the villages, willing to risk divine anger for her daughter. Okonkwo also follows eventually, carrying a machete, though he hides how worried he is. Chielo takes Ezinma into the oracle's cave and later returns her safely to bed. The episode reveals a tenderness in both parents that their daily behavior often conceals, especially in Okonkwo. Soon after, the village mourns Ogbuefi Ezeudu. Because he was a great titled man and warrior, his funeral is grand, loud, and full of gunfire. During the ceremony, Okonkwo's gun accidentally explodes and kills Ezeudu's 16-year-old son. Even though the killing is accidental, it is a crime against the earth goddess. Okonkwo must leave Umuofia for 7 years. His buildings are burned and his animals killed to cleanse the village of the offense. Obierika, troubled by the severity of the custom, begins to wonder why a man must suffer so much for an accident. Okonkwo takes his family to Mbanta, his mother's village. His uncle Uchendu and other relatives welcome him, help him build a new compound, and lend him seed yams. Okonkwo works, but the energy that once drove him is dulled. He believes exile has destroyed his chance to become one of the greatest men in Umuofia. Uchendu reminds him that the motherland is where a person seeks shelter when life becomes bitter. He also tells Okonkwo that suffering is not unique to him, pointing to his own many losses. Okonkwo hears the lesson, but he struggles to accept comfort. During Okonkwo's exile, news arrives that a village called Abame has been destroyed. A white man came there on what the villagers call an iron horse, later understood to be a bicycle. Their oracle warned that more white men would come and bring destruction, so the people killed the stranger. Later, other white men found the bicycle, guessed what had happened, and returned with armed men who massacred the village during market day. Uchendu says Abame acted foolishly by killing a man who said nothing they understood. Okonkwo thinks they were foolish for not preparing for war. Obierika continues to help Okonkwo by selling his yams and bringing him the money. On a later visit, he brings more troubling news. Nwoye has been seen with Christian missionaries. The missionaries, led by a white man and interpreted by Mr. Kiaga, come to Mbanta preaching one God and rejecting the clan's gods as false. Many villagers laugh at their message, confused by ideas like the Trinity and the Son of God without a wife. Okonkwo dismisses them as mad, but Nwoye is drawn in. The new religion seems to answer the questions that have haunted him, especially the deaths of Ikemefuna and the abandoned twins. The missionaries ask for land to build a church, and the elders give them a plot in the evil forest, expecting the spirits there to kill them. When nothing happens, the church gains power. More converts join, including people the clan has rejected or devalued, such as titleless men, a woman whose twins have repeatedly been thrown away, and later Osu, outcasts considered untouchable. Mr. Kiaga refuses to reject them, insisting that the new faith accepts them. This makes Christianity especially powerful among those who have suffered under clan customs. When Okonkwo learns that Nwoye has joined the Christians, he attacks him. Uchendu orders him to stop, and Nwoye leaves his father's compound for good, later going to school in Umuofia. Okonkwo feels disgust and shame, unable to understand how his son could choose a path he considers weak and womanly. To him, Nwoye's conversion is not only religious betrayal, but personal humiliation. Tension grows between the converts and the clan. One convert claims to have killed the sacred royal python, and Okonkwo urges Mbanta to drive the Christians away by force. The elders choose temporary ostracism instead. When the man who boasted about killing the python dies, the villagers see it as proof that their gods still have power, and the immediate conflict eases. As his 7 years of exile end, Okonkwo holds a great feast for his mother's kinsmen. He is grateful for their support, but inwardly he resents the years lost away from Umuofia. He has spent his exile planning a triumphant return, a larger compound, more wives, titles for his sons, and marriage arrangements for his daughters, Ezinma and Obiageli. He especially hopes that his daughter's beauty will bring attention and restore his prestige. But Umuofia is not the same village he left. The church has grown. The white men have brought a government, a court, and new laws. Some villagers like the trade and money that come with the newcomers. Mr. Brown, the first missionary leader, tries to restrain his followers and build understanding. He debates religion with Akuna, a respected clan leader, and though neither man converts the other, they learn something from the exchange. Mr. Brown also builds a school and hospital, warning that those who learn reading and writing will gain power. Many villagers begin to see practical benefits in what the missionaries bring. Okonkwo returns expecting honor, but the clan shows little excitement. His daughters attract suitors, yet his own ambitions stall. Worse, he sees that Umuofia's old warrior spirit has weakened. Obierika explains that the white man came quietly, seemed harmless, and slowly broke the clan's unity. Now some clansmen support the church and government, making violent resistance far more complicated. Okonkwo and Obierika sit with the painful knowledge that the old bonds have been split. After Mr. Brown leaves because of illness, Reverend James Smith replaces him. Unlike Mr. Brown, Smith is rigid and intolerant. Under his leadership, the most extreme converts feel encouraged. One of them, Enoch, commits a severe offense by unmasking an egwugwu during a ceremony, an act understood as killing an ancestral spirit. In response, the egwugwu burn Enoch's compound, then move to the church. Reverend Smith refuses to submit, but the egwugwu burn the church anyway to cleanse the village of the insult. For a moment, Okonkwo feels hopeful again. The clan has finally acted. But when the district commissioner returns, he summons the leaders of Umuofia as if to speak peacefully. Once they set down their machetes, soldiers seize them. The leaders are imprisoned, insulted, beaten, and held for ransom. The court messengers demand even more cowries from the village than the official fine, planning to profit from the difference. Umuofia raises the money, and the humiliated leaders are released. The village falls into a tense silence. Okonkwo returns with whip marks on his back and a hard resolve in his mind. A meeting is called, and men from all 9 villages gather. Okonkwo prepares for war, no matter what the rest decide. During the meeting, a speaker mourns the damage done to the clan, its gods, and its ancestral traditions. Then 5 court messengers arrive and order the gathering to stop. Okonkwo acts instantly. He kills the lead messenger with his machete, but the crowd does not rise with him. Instead, confusion spreads, and the other messengers escape. Someone even questions why Okonkwo killed the man. In that moment, Okonkwo understands that Umuofia will not fight. The world he believed in has already changed beyond recovery. He wipes the blood from his machete and walks away. When the district commissioner comes to Okonkwo's compound, Obierika and a few others are sitting outside. They lead him behind the compound, where Okonkwo's body hangs from a tree. He has taken his own life. Because suicide is an abomination, his clansmen cannot touch or bury him. They must ask strangers to take the body down. Obierika, overcome with anger and grief, tells the commissioner that Okonkwo was one of the greatest men in Umuofia and that the commissioner helped drive him to this end. The commissioner does not truly understand the weight of what he has witnessed. He thinks only of how Okonkwo's death might fit into the book he is writing about the region. To him, this entire life, the rise, the fear, the violence, the traditions, the exile, the return, and the final despair may become only a paragraph. The story ends with that bitter contrast. Okonkwo's world has fallen apart, and the people who helped break it are already reducing it to a small note in their own version of history.